Quantos tuo usuncarum ungularum delectatque contremescit me intro.
Where are you?
I'm right here.
Touch
I got
me,
you, buddy.
Touch me.
Yeah,
What is
me.
this?
No,
That's
that's
your
me.
penis?
Yeah, that's my penis
Holy
with 5 fingers on it. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, what the fuck?
I can't see anything.
What is on?
Hello?
What's on me?
Hello?
Are your hands tied up?
Bill? Rob?
Yeah,
Are you here?
Michael?
You have been kidnapped.
Oh my God.
Whoa, what?
And you will have to be watching this movie called The Lawnmower Man.
I
No.
think we can watch things
This is
blindfolded.
Project 5, not
Oh.
Project 1, not Project 2, not Project 3,
No.
not Project 4. This is Project 5.
No, not
Called
the
The Lawnmower Man.
Please.
Fuck.
Please, anything
1992, directed by Brett Leonard.
God
No.
damn it. I've heard of this.
think
We
but this.
fucking...
No, not
Starring
this.
Jeff Fahey and Bryce Brosnan.
Oh my God. Bryce Pierce Brosnan.
No.
Bryce Pierce Brosnan
We've been
movies.
abducted by what sounds like a merman.
Eddie Charlie Murphy?
What?
We
Oh.
here
Eddie
at
Charlie
the-
Mermath Murphy?
We here at the Virtual Space Industries believe strongly in virtual reality, what we call the metaverse.
How do you feel about kidnapping?
Our methods are untypical.
No, I don't
But
like this.
they're questionable, but untypical.
Hey, the moral principles went out with the Catholic Church 300 years ago.
Oh, fuck. None of this
Wow.
makes sense. It's a good thing we've already watched this movie.
Strip down and I will slap you with a belt.
Oh,
Okay. Sure.
All right.
What else are you gonna do?
This isn't too
Not
I did
bad.
not
as
mean
scared.
that as a good thing. I meant that as a sadistic thing.
Let's
So
pour the tequila.
Play along.
Let's swallow that worm. Come on.
No, that's sadistic is one. That's BDS.
Yeah, you
okay,
watch a movie
forget I
or-
said that. Just
You got popcorn?
put all your clothes on.
I want to
Nah,
pop
I'm
the fucking
kind of
cork.
comfortable
I
now.
was taking off my
We might as well
pants.
stay here a while and
No,
watch a
I-
movie,
your clothes
guys.
off.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you guys want to
This
watch
is
a movie?
torture
This
here.
is a
What
pretty
this?
clean couch. You
What
can just
are-
sit down
Why are
naked.
you laughing? Put your blindfolds back on.
I didn't take them off.
It's a
I'm
lot
tied
easier
up.
to massage Bill with my blindfold off.
You're not tied up,
Wait, is that? Wait, what do you mean I'm not touching you, Phil? Wait,
Phil. Are you touching Phil?
Phil? Oh, fuck! Phil's here!
Hey, what's up, Phil?
Woo, I didn't know we had... This is a fucking party. Who's our host? This is pretty rad.
Yeah, what is your name?
I am your host.
Yeah, he's Phase 5 guy.
Oh, Phase 5 guy's gonna make us watch Lawnmower Man, and we're gonna have dry mouths and wet
Yes.
butts by the end of the night.
And I think we heard something about dinner. You're making dinner?
Yes, I will feed. I do feed my prisoners.
Well,
I mean, it sounds like a good gig. I would just untie Bill. Or don't.
not
I'm
yet.
good.
Don't untie him yet.
You should not be excited by the tying up aspect.
Oh, we're not.
This is torture.
Oh,
we're
I'm not.
really
We're
mad about it.
super
I'm
not
honestly,
into
mine
it.
are a little loose. If you want to come tighten them up.
We will be watching The Lawnmower Man, 1992.
What are you gonna do? Force it into
Groundbreaking.
our
There are
brains?
groundbreaking visual effects in this film. It was nominated for an Oscar.
Did it win?
No. Scent of a Woman did.
Oh,
What category was Scent of a Woman and Lawnmower Man both nominated in?
Best sound editing.
I could see that. Well, I could hear it.
Yeah, you can kind of hear it.
There's a lot of like ASMR in this film, isn't there? Kind of that's what it's all based about. VR, ASMR, BDSM, AR.
I didn't see any nudity,
don't-
but
There's one titty in this movie.
There is a
There's at
titty.
least a nipple.
And 2 man titties.
There's a good amount of man
Instead of
titties in this movie.
bare-chested men.
Speaking of bare-chested men, like, I'm gonna get comfy if you guys don't mind.
You're wearing too many clothes. Take those off.
Thanks. Cool. This is gonna turn into some weird psychosexual thing where Section
Like,
5
can you
guys.
take that off? There's like something with a timer on it ticking on your shirt.
Yeah, it looks just like an alarm clock with a chain on it, a la Flavor Flav.
Oh shit! I thought it was a bomb. You're just wearing a chain.
Yeah, this is just my Flavor
Oh,
Flav t-shirt.
shit,
This is my
that's
Public
tight.
Enemy t-shirt. I'm gonna take it off if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
I thought we were in danger.
It's
By
a
the
low
time I
light
get to
situation, Bill.
Arizona. All right,
Where are we?
where the fuck are we?
Where
I
are
fell
we?
asleep in Acapulco. I woke up next to
We
you
were
two
doing
and
the Halloween
Phil
blitz.
and some disembodied voice.
There's that weird guy who was staring at us in Mexico City.
I feel like we watched some movie, like it's been implanted in my brain, but I haven't actually seen it.
It was
You guys
almost
feel
like
that,
a
but you know you've seen it.
like a forced watch VR situation. Like somebody put an
Yeah.
Oculus Rift helmet on me.
Whoa.
I am the Lawnmower Man. Watch.
It's like Pierce Brosnan implanted himself in your brain while you slept.
Bryce Brosnan.
Pierce Bryce Brosnan.
Pierce.
I wish he'd implant me when I was sleeping.
Dude, you and me both, brother. Let's talk about this movie that I think we watched.
How
think-
do
don't
I know
if we
everything
watched
about
It's
this movie
in
already?
my brain, but I remember it. I remember Stephen King's name being associated with this.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think
I don't
that's
remember
true.
that.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Not at all.
I feel like that was wiped from my memory.
I just wonder if there's any information on that.
Hey, Phase 5 guy.
Do you have any information that you can zap into us?
Or tell us.
Or tell us?
Or just make up and lie.
I am legally obligated not to mention the name Stephen King.
What happens
Oh,
now?
shit.
Yeah, you find now?
Beep.
The name I just said was Steven King. He's someone different.
Oh,
As
I know
opposed to
Steven.
who else?
Can I get permission to drop this character and just talk normally? Because
No,
this
you-
is getting
that's like a
sickened. I'm
prime
not
directive. You
digging
can't
this
do that.
anymore.
You kidnapped us. I think you're calling the shots.
Yeah, why are you asking me for permission, Daddy?
Access denied.
Deny yourself what you want.
My,
Why
brain,
you
my
flew out
brain
there?
is scrambling. Overload.
Speaking of scrambling, that's how I like my eggs in the morning. Am I staying the night, tough guy?
Wow, the captor is dead now. He died.
Oh, wow.
His brain blew up.
He was
Oh,
an
cool.
android this whole time.
He
That's
was
wild.
an android.
It's an
Cool.
android. It's just full of milk or cum or
Android?
whatever that guy is, an alien.
Oh, yeah.
I am usually covered in cum.
Hey.
Ian Holm.
Home.
Andrew, did you watch this movie too, or did we just all wake up in your fucking house basement?
Yeah. How much ketamine did you feed us?
Why were you in your house basement?
It's funny that there was this abduction sub-theme here.
Funny,
because I
haha.
felt like I was abducted to watch this film. Film.
Film.
I'm calling it a film. This was not good, but
But
I'm
you
still glad that I watched it with my favorite horror movie fans.
Aww.
I don't
Elmers,
even care
you
to
heard it here
tie
first.
up.
We're not just your favorite horror movie podcast. We're Andrew's favorite horror
Yes,
movie
and I'm
podcast.
sitting here with a fake smile pasted on my face, and inside I'm seething because we had to watch this piece of trash. But
If you could have watched any other handful of movies, what would they have been?
there's a handful, a lot of things that I would have rather watched. But
Sexy Chris Sarandon?
Fright Night?
Would you fuck Chris Sarandon?
no, I would fuck
Susan?
what's his name?
Would.
Roddy McDowell.
Roddy McDowell.
Yes.
Yeah. Or whatever the fuck he said. I hate that shit. I hate that fucking movie.
that?
No, he's no.
Hey, Brewster!
No. Roddy McDowell's the hunter. He's Peter Vincent.
Oh, he's Peter Vincent.
Yeah.
Would you fuck Roddy
What
McDowell?
did you think it was?
I don't.
Evil Ed.
I don't.
Evil
think
Ed.
So.
Ah, Brewster! What's he say?
so cool, Brewster.
I fucking hate that movie.
I don't think that's a movie we watched.
Do you like that movie more than the movie we watched, or do you like this movie more?
I think I like. I don't know.
So this was multiple times that you've seen this movie, all of you.
This is all of our
second-
second.
Rob,
second-
not so much.
About
'cause
half.
He didn't make it very far into this movie.
half.
But
Far enough.
I'm just struggling. I know you guys are more horror fans than I am, but I don't understand
It's based on
the
Stephen King.
rewatch,
You know?
the rewatchability of this. I don't even know from a so bad it's good quotient what exactly is the appeal here. Please enlighten me.
Bird bath.
Bird bath.
Bird bath.
I mean, if some of them one word is bird bath. Fuck.
Because it's not really a horror movie, right?
No, this is like a sci-fi fantasy
Thriller,
I mean,
if that.
people die, but
people
not
die,
in
so-
violent ways per se. They're more turned into
And there's like an evil
little
entity.
orbs.
Yeah.
You know, like there's an evil, like
There's-
no, they're not
There
government,
Kernels of
but
it is.
ideas that aren't bad. I'll give it that. Except these ideas, you know, the technology, the scientist who creates the monster that ends up turning on himself, the sort of religious undertones of it. The problem is none of these ideas are original, and they didn't really do a very good job of innovating within those tropes. So I see some decent ideas, but it just and the effects.
great.
right.
A little dated.
Real good.
I mean, almost ruin the movie. I mean, it's pretty. I can't imagine that those were ever cool. Like,
Bill, what'd you think about him?
I thought they were pretty funny. They definitely don't hold up well, which is definitely part of the charm. Like, I love the flying suits do like the chopping things. It reminds me of like a mini game in Mario Party or something.
You familiar with
I mean,
the
they're not good.
TV show Reboot from like the early 2000s?
No, I am not.
Like a computer generated, very similar animation style. I don't know. There's like a nostalgia aspect to it for me. Just like seeing that kind of play out. And like you're saying, like almost like a mini game or something like that. And it's just a time capsule. The VR, the like, I don't know, like training monkeys to kill monkeys in VR,
It's
whatever
fucking
that
nuts.
is. The secret government base. Like it also has shades of a Stephen King novel, even though
The
it's
Shop,
like
I
not.
think, is a Stephen King.
Oh, it is totally.
It's been in several of his.
It's like, oh, we've
of
got
his
like
novels.
a underground
I'm
CIA.
sure he probably used that in the lawsuit. Or cited
Oh
it.
yeah, it's like stolen
you gotta
idea.
get that out of the.
Because that's in
out of
Firestarter. That's in.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Dead Zone?
Name 5 Stephen King novels with magic kids in them, where they get
Right.
stolen by the government. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Great
But
drop with Firestarter. I did not think you were gonna go there, but
it's really good, and also George C. Scott is in that.
he is.
Yeah, he
And
plays-
it's a great Tangerine Dream score.
Yeah, yeah, it is Tangerine Dream. That's right. That's right. But I don't know. Like, it's kind of fun. Like, again, you get like some almost awful stereotype of only like an Irish American or an Irish person, but also as like a man with mental disabilities and like how people treat him and how he's depicted. He looks
Yeah.
very much like, if you've seen Tropic Thunder, he looks. It's like
He
they
looks like
clearly saw this movie and then designed Simple Jack around, you know,
Even down to the
Lawnmower
haircut.
Man, Job, and yeah, the
Right.
the overalls and just all of it.
His mannerisms and how he moves are all very stereotypical and
Big
offensive.
eyes, yeah, all of that.
And
Well, and
Pierce
didn't you mention
Brosnan.
it that it's got the Flowers for Algernon riff, which again, unoriginal idea, done better previously.
Of course, of course.
Right.
But people like what they know, so I don't think this was a successful film. I don't remember looking at like the actual gross
The
or
box
you
office
know.
was in the 20 or close to 30 million, which I was surprised
Worldwide,
to see.
yeah.
I mean, that's not.
yeah, I think it cost like 16 or something. It was not like.
I mean, it made some money, and I was.
Yeah, it wasn't a smash, but
wasn't
it
a smash,
wasn't a
but-
bust.
Right. I'm surprised it made that much money.
Stephen
Maybe
King
It was
I
based
was about
on
to say
that.
how much money that went to Stephen King.
Yeah, putting his name
And I
on
wonder.
it.
I mean, Brosnan had been doing like TV stuff. I don't.
It was his last movie before he did James Bond, I believe.
Also,
Okay.
no, because Mrs. Doubtfire. Was
Mrs.
after
Doubtfire,
this,
yeah.
But
But that was it before Goldeneye.
yeah, Goldeneye was like 95.
I think it was 94.
96. I think it was.
Either way.
But But I'm surprised that they got. I mean, maybe he had some box office appeal at that time. I'm not sure. I know he was like Remington Steele.
Well, he's sexy.
Yeah, he's definitely sexy,
He's
man.
very
They're like,
sexy.
well, put some glasses on you. That way you look nerdy.
And an earring.
But playing-
and you
yeah,
see
if
Yeah,
he
you're
had
a
any-
scientist, but you have a
he was
sweater and glasses.
pierced bras.
Pierced Bros Braun.
But if he was the
Pierce
main
Brosnan.
draw here, or one of the main draws, but he's
Yeah.
playing second banana to
Whoever
something
plays Job.
named
Jeff
Jeff
Fahey.
Jim
Yeah,
Fahey.
Fahey.
Hey, Jeff Fahey
Nah.
is a all-star
Who's-
in Hollywood who has
honestly-
also been on 3 seasons of Lost. As
I
a
saw
pilot
that when I just
Lupitas.
Wikipedia
Oh,
in
yeah.
the middle of the movie.
He's like built in this. Like he looks good.
I hadn't seen him in anything before.
He's got
this.
traps for days.
Didn't have much of a film career, and I can see why based on this film.
This was a hard.
Okay.
He was
this-
blacklisted because he did
This
such
was
a
a
good portrayal.
hard script to get on the table, and for him to be like, "Yeah, I'll do that."
Well, it's a lead.
Yeah,
know,
that's what I'm
so-
saying.
I'm
Probably
not saying,
hard to turn
I'm not
down.
blaming Jeff Fahey for saying yes to
For,
this.
for
Yeah,
enjoying
right.
the movie.
More
Yeah.
just worried about the people who gave him that offer. But I mean, he's not. No one. Meryl Streep couldn't save this film. And
Maybe
so-
she rewrote it.
Would you? I mean,
She played
think of
every
Meryl,
character,
think of
too.
Meryl Streep as
Every character.
Job.
As Job.
That's fucking
It'd
kind
be,
of
an-
hot.
it'd be
as
an
fuck.
acting challenge for her. I think she'd take that challenge.
She has the
Honestly,
chops.
Yeah.
She'd nail it.
To play a mentally challenged man, landscaper, that's a lot of meat to dig into. So I would give her the chance. Maybe I don't know if the reboot remake rights are still available, but maybe Meryl can make that happen.
You
Meryl,
know,
if you're listening,
if anybody can, Meryl can do it.
I don't believe that bitch has any talent.
It's
If she did the Lawnmower Man reboot, she would get an Oscar nomination.
She's no Natalie
Guaranteed.
Portman.
she could do the
She's no Natalie Portman.
the Lawnmower Man Wears Prada.
That does make sense. And I shouldn't have called her a bitch. I take all of this back. I am
that would've been
uneducated.
so good.
I would say I was a little disappointed because I didn't really know anything about this movie other than the Stephen King thing and
Right.
the fact that
Do you know what the Stephen
that
King?
Price Persson co-starred in it. I was a little disappointed because I was pretty much assuming, I was almost sure that the whole thing is the guy turns into a lawnmower.
That would be a cooler
Oh,
movie,
fuck.
right?
That would be cool. And does sound something.
And the
like
lawnmower
SK would do.
gets a kill. There's a kill in there with the lawnmower.
Have you ever seen Tetsuo, the Iron Man? You might like that if you're looking for something in that
I
vein.
do like transformations into
Yes.
machinery.
What about Transformers?
Robots in the sky.
Strangely, no. I like all
scary.
transformations into machinery except for the
Machine
the
to
most
machine.
Cars.
famous example of that.
What about GoBots?
Love GoBots.
Yeah, that's fucking. You're a reasonable man. They're at a much more affordable market price. That's why my stepfathers always bought them before
a
they
marketable
left.
price person.
You would spend your summers in Chuck E. Cheese's all over Minnesota. Tell us about that.
Well, no, not Minnesota, Lake Winnipesaukee,
Go ahead.
and I got to know the Chuckster pretty well.
You guys did one-on-one time.
Oh, we got to know each other like the priest and Job did
In this film. Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Let me ask you this then.
got
Before
our
we get
shirts
one
off.
last question. One last question.
He
Had
had
you-
whippings.
did you ever mow his lawn?
And he had to repent for his molestations later in the film as he's being set on fire.
Yeah.
That's all I
Set
gotta
on
say.
fire by.
By you. You
Your
burned Chuck E.
mind?
Cheese.
Yeah, and you
It
have
made it look like a suicide.
pyrokinesis.
You immolated Chuck
Right.
E. Cheese with your brain.
Yes. A fire-breathing version.
I
But-
knew it. You were right.
So you're a flamer.
A little bit.
Fucking
bit.
sick. This is going to be a good night.
Sounds like eerily suspiciously similar to Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think this is Harmony on J.
Hoover Street?
Yeah. I'm getting reverse Hoovered tonight, if you know what I mean.
I don't really, but I guess you're gonna get a bunch of air blown in your asshole.
Well, yeah.
Asshole?
Yeah, exactly. You do get it.
So what happens? I seem to remember Pierce Brosnan just trying to make this Lawnmower Man smart by making him play insane video games in his basement.
Yeah.
There's a mentally handicapped
Just-
man played by Jeff Fahey who was met by a scientist, and he's going to turn him into a competent person
He
by
starts-
submerging him in,
Well, it's-
immersing him in VR.
He starts with monkeys and he wants to move on.
No, his chimp gets taken away because he escapes.
Oh yeah,
And-
138.
And
Those are
it's
two
like,
different
not going to
things.
get any more chimps. So he's like, oh, let me get the mentally challenged landscaper guy. That's the closest thing to a chimp I can get.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Job's a hell of a mechanic, though.
And he's like, why don't you come over and hang out in my basement?
And he's
Play video games.
very religious.
With the fucking 10-year-old kid.
It's super fun. Don't tell anybody about it.
I definitely did not remember all the religious undertones. There's like a lot of hate towards the church and stuff, like, which is tight because fuck the church.
Can we
But
take
it's
one
like-
moment to say fuck the church?
Yeah.
Fuck the church, right?
Fuck the church. And there
Talking about
he's one of the
Eric Church,
many
right?
people in the movie
Eric
that
Church,
are
yeah.
taking
So hot.
Big C.
advantage of Job.
Cancer.
Is the church. That's what they do. They take advantage of people. And they show that in this
I think
movie, and he
you were
dies
saying that you were
for
struggling
it.
to find the religious undertones. You didn't catch that when at the end of the movie he goes, "I am God."
I didn't remember.
He
I
has
didn't
sins.
remember it. I didn't remember it as much from the first viewing
There's a very mean priest.
that we
yeah.
had, and it makes sense that the screenplay that this actually ended up being based off is called Cyber God, because
Becomes a
that's
cyber
obvious
god.
what his goal is to become a
It's dog
god
shit
of
script,
the
by the way.
internet.
Terrible
Right.
script.
Horrible fucking
It's a bad script in that the first act I thought was the worst, which is usually the easiest part to
Palatable.
nail. I
Definitely
didn't know
the
what the
worst.
fuck was going on until like the second act might have been the best part of the movie, because that's when I'm like, okay,
Oh.
we're doing the the mentally challenge, going towards genius and then god level. The third act was ridiculous. So, but I didn't know for the first 20 minutes what the hell was going on. I don't think they set it up very well at all. The Lawnmower Man only makes his first appearance, 15 minutes in?
Imagine adding 45 minutes to this fucking film.
It makes it better.
And it was zero context or content in the 45 minutes of this film. And that's the director's cut, which is the only thing that we had previously seen. We all watched this director's cut together a year plus ago for whatever fucking reason. And I could tell you that this movie was I don't know what was missing.
Well,
There's like more
at
stuff with
least
the
there's
neighbors.
some, but-
some of it was
Right?
with the kid and his abusive father. There was more
Yeah.
of that.
And there's more of like
a love triangle
Miss
almost.
Burke's sexy
Yes.
Wasn't
like
there an
fantasies
affair?
across the
There's
street.
more sex for sure in the director's cut.
And yet it wasn't a sexy movie in the director's cut. Jeff Fahey is the
No.
sexiest part of this movie, and it's only because you want him to come over and sweat and drink lemonade, and you know he's stronger than you, and he's got that dirt under his fingernails and maybe a little something else.
And he can fucking read your mind.
Yeah.
That is also hot. Would you fuck a dude who could read your mind?
Yeah, because he'd be like, oh, this guy wants to fuck.
And so you'd give it up.
And I'd be like, yeah, I can't, I mean, yeah. You can't lie about that.
And it'd be easier for you to come forward about the hemorrhoids because you wouldn't have to say it out loud because you'd obviously be
No,
thinking
I'd
about it
be
right
like-
away.
I'd be like, oh, fuck this guy, and now we're going to fuck, and he's going to see my hemorrhoids.
And I'd be like, don't worry about it,
Gonna
baby.
See them.
Don't worry about it. I got you.
I like that. Oh God, we're gonna fuck. He's gonna see my hemorrhoid.
I usually keep them covered up. I'm not tonight. I mean, I was.
Covered in what?
until Kidnapped. but
Tough acting, tenactin.
It seems my...
Tough acting, tenactin, your asshole.
What?
Do you
I don't
put
know what that is.
Do you, boom? Like fucking, you got fucking John
Like-
Madden in your asshole.
Oh, I was thinking...
Did he just die?
Oh,
John
yeah.
Madden
He
and
died?
Takeoff died. Let's give a moment of silence for
Moment of
Takeoff
silence.
and John Madden.
Well,
Okay.
We're back.
they died like a year apart. Let's get that clear. But
Yeah, but I feel like they're pretty similar.
Dig him up.
Dig 'em up. Figure it out.
Dig them up. All right. Back to the movie.
Yeah, he gets like telekinesis, mind reading powers. He's able to control the internet.
He's shooting
I don't think there's
shit
internet.
into his neck.
Kind of.
phone lines, whatever.
He's shooting
is there
serum
some-
into
is there
his
some
neck.
point where they're like switched the medicine out into something different? I thought
Into-
that was part of it, or maybe I missed.
It was
something.
part of it. It was something, whatever they called it, Experiment 5 or Serum 5. and
Project
it's
5.
Yeah, and it's the blend of whatever that when they gave to the chimpanzees at the beginning
It
made
was
them
super
very
aggressive.
violent and attacked the whatever the worker. What is the name of the place? It's funny.
Oh, virtual
Virtual
space
space
industries.
Yeah, it caused
The place that employs 5 people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
30,000 square foot warehouse.
only mood lighting in this extreme laboratory where they do
It's
collect
such
data
an
on.
evil-looking building.
And
It's
clear
insane.
security pads that you swipe cards, clear
Yeah,
cards through.
So yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
the technology is sound in this movie, airtight.
It's like this movie was made at the same time that like clear phones were really popular for like
Yes.
the yeah.
Pepsi.
If something
Or
was,
like those,
if
like,
something was
Everything
clear,
was
it was
clear.
fancy.
Clear but like kind of colored N64 controllers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the transparent N64 control.
You
Yeah.
could see all the wires and
Purple
shit.
and green.
That shit was tight.
Fuck yeah.
God, I want someone to look at my insides.
John Madden.
I don't think John Madden's got good vision, but he could smell me.
Because he's
We might be able to make that happen.
You kill me and bury me next to John Madden, and you film some weird incestual like love story about him and I becoming one. Or what do you? How
what's
would you
the
do this?
incest part? Are you related?
You
to
know.
John Madden?
No, it's a story. It's
Well-
a story about how they're father and son.
Yeah.
Oh,
Weren't
my
But they're
God.
both dead and they're dying and they're beautiful.
Sorry, that was a fucking.
Weren't you paying attention?
stupid question.
Yeah, it was
Stupid
fucking
ass.
dumb.
How the fuck did you think I learned how to play
It's like
football?
constantly derailing the pod with your dumb fucking questions, Bill.
Yeah, I always sit in the corner and think of something until you fucking can do that.
Damn it.
Yeah, I've known you for 6 hours, and you are a fucking idiot.
But he is sweet.
That's the
He's
first
got a big
thing
old
my
dick.
mother said to me.
He's got a big old 7 hours after birth.
God, you're so fucking stupid.
I remember that shit. It's on videotape.
Smarter than
She
she
makes
thought.
me watch it my every birthday. I have to
Every
watch it.
birthday. Hi, Mom. Go down soon.
Hi, Mom. I was talking at 6 hours, and she still called me stupid. 6 hours old. I said, "Hi,
Well,
Mom."
you're saying some
She said,
dumb
"You're
bullshit."
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, what were we saying? Like the fucking. What were you
She
saying?
was
something
like, "You've
stupid?
been in VR this whole fucking time." That's
Do you
what
know how to
have
use a
say."
fucking coaster? Because I'm starting to agree with your mom. Jesus fucking Christ. What is going on here?
Don't you
Forget about me.
words.
Thank you.
Name in vain.
Okay, this pod's going well.
Speaking
This
of
is
going well,
Somehow more coherent than
the first time we did this. All right, so then what happened after we took our pants off,
Dick's out.
ass up?
For dinner.
Ass up.
That's the way we like to fuck.
Fuck. You get it.
Yeah,
Windows down. I just pulled them back up again, actually.
your windows
we're
or your dick?
waiting.
My pants.
Your pants.
So we also get what's his fucking face, Hank from
Hey,
Breaking
Kramer.
Breaking Bad. Anyone know the actor's name? It does not matter.
Yeah, it's Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, Dean Norris is in this, and they video chat with his nose
Still
and
without
mouth.
hair, by the way.
Just very bald. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like from
At
eyebrows
first I
to
thought
the
he
bottom
had
lip.
hair, and
Not-
he did have a little bit.
Not annoyingly
But-
bald like some people in this movie.
Oh,
lot of
God, he
bald-
was so
lot of
obnoxiously
baldness in this
bald.
movie.
I hate bald boys.
Hate him.
Make me feel like I'm back in pants. But yeah, lots of Dean Norris nose and mouth and doing like a Bond villain
It's a
accent
very
on a
mild
huge
accent.
screen.
It's Michael
in a-
Chiklis, though, right?
No,
No.
no, it's Michael Dickless.
No, Hank. Who played? What's the actor's name?
Dean Norris?
I'm fucking this up genuinely.
I
You
thought you were
actually
doing
thought
a
it was-
bit. I thought you were doing a bit.
Well, it's totally a bit. Don't be coy.
Michael's being coy because that was such a good
Fuck.
bit.
Likes being coy.
Oh, do I? Tell me what I'm
Fucking
like.
Oh,
you little coy boy.
I will tell you.
Fucking coy
Give it a little
boy.
bit.
Yeah, God, this movie is
A movie.
a movie.
It's not good.
It's not for modern audiences, or
It's offensive, confusing, and poorly written.
yeah, there's a reason why SK sued and why he won.
But yeah,
'Cause
like I
this
said,
shit's insane.
I mean, there was a sequel to this.
Yes,
There is.
was. And
Cyber-
we're actually going to watch that
Cyberspace.
once we're done with this.
And
Yeah,
another
and then we'll
pod.
do another pod on that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that there's at least some audience for this.
It's
I mean,
profitable.
the way he ended it, he finally found a way out of the mainframe, which, from a technology standpoint, I'm not entirely sure what that was. They all just said I/O for input output, and one was randomly.
Bill, this is highly
Open.
advanced, like technology, like government technology. It's probably just
It's-
out of your scope.
You
Yeah,
might need
I'm
to
just
ask your
not
dad
there
about
yet.
this. Honestly, I don't think
Yeah.
you'd get it.
Dad, if you're listening, will you watch The Lawnmower Man and tell me what it means?
Only if you get clearance.
I would love to watch The Lawnmower Man with Frank Arthur and have him tell me what it means.
God, Frank Arthur.
Yeah, that's probably a man.
It's definitely a man. It's your fucking daddy, Papa.
Do you have any more
Uh,
comments?
I think it's
Andrew?
fun
Meet him
that
someday.
I was mentioning the dog shit effects.
Yeah.
And about the themes of technology, the boomerang effect of technology, how it comes back to bite the scientist who's creating the monster. In a weird way, that's how you can summarize the making of this movie as well, because they leaned all into the CGI shit, and it killed the movie, thinking that it was their thinking that it was their sort of cutting edge feather in their cap, and
They called
that's
it
what killed
macaroni.
them. Yeah, Yankee Doodle Dandy, they are fucked because this was not a good movie. So I thought that was sort of interesting that the movie itself shares the parable of what it's trying to convey and failing to convey, I should mention. But yeah, it was not good. But I'm trying to come up with some content. And
Thank
I'm just
you.
getting no
We
response.
appreciate your opinions.
At all.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot
So what
to
do we want to
dissect.
talk about?
But
I'm guesting here, and I want some prime 13th and Elm content.
Well, I'm glad
and
that you brought
discussion.
that up because I actually have a short laundry list of topic discussions discussion topics even that the three of us
Hit
had
us.
come together and we came up with this together to ask you.
We sure did.
So let's look at the first thing that we wrote down.
It's like a sexual
What does it say?
inventory.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Probably,
No.
honestly.
Cum
It has
and
nothing.
butts
It has
and
nothing to do with sex.
No.
Question number one:
boners and dicks.
when is the last time you had a boner? Okay, skip that one.
I have
Who
one
put that
right
one?
now.
Who put that one in? Are we filtering
It's
these?
signed-
I don't think he
it's
put it
signed
in
by you,
anywhere
Bill.
yet.
Oh shit! I put that one in. Skip
All right,
that one.
but okay, so fuck that. What's your favorite scary movie?
3?
Scream.
Scary Movie 3? You said what's my favorite of the scary movies?
Yeah.
I'd say 3.
Really?
It's quality. I like Leslie Nielsen as the president.
Yes, he's
That was
great.
pretty good,
He's
actually.
great. Hey,
3
how
is
are ya?
actually Scary Movie 3 is pretty good.
It's really fucking funny.
Scary Movie 1 is I don't really like Scary Movie 2, and I feel like that is sort of like a cult favorite. A lot of people like 2, I think, of the series. I stopped after 3. I haven't watched. What are they up to, like 6? At least 5.
3 is the place to stop. So
yeah,
you're
well,
fine.
I'm glad I
You're
did.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a scary movie tattoo.
Really?
Yeah,
Do
he
I want to
does.
see that? Is that right next to the hemorrhoids, or? Okay. Confirmed.
It was right next to the hemorrhoids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can see that behind a paywall on the video.
Hemorrhoids didn't look that bad.
No, that was the tattoo.
No, the hemorrhoid. I'm talking to the hemorrhoids.
You're talking to him?
Yes.
Talk back.
They're looking beautiful right now.
So,
Looking very plump.
what's the
This
I didn't fuck them.
what's your relationship here with the horror then? Why did you
Yeah,
come out
how do
here
you
to
know
talk
this
about
horror?
Scary Movie 3 and watch shitty fucking Lawnmower Man? Is like, what are we doing here if we're not talking about
You kidnapped
scary
us.
movies? So,
Well, yeah, I don't. Horror is a good genre. It's probably not my favorite, but I'm not. You guys inspire me with your passion. That's not a lie.
Aw.
I do appreciate. I mean, I'll be honest. Most of the movies that you review, I would not watch, or I wouldn't be interested in watching. But you can tell that you guys are very into it, and I do like that. So, but I do find it to be a great genre. It was a genre that that for years I avoided actively. But there's something about, I mean, there's not a ton of genres that have so many tropes. I mean, drama is not a genre, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like, because that's such a wide range of films. It's like a category. It's not a genre.
Right.
Horror has specific tropes. Probably the most rigid tropes, or not rigid. That's not the right word, but westerns is like this too. Sci-fi is like that. But of the genres that I just mentioned, I think it's the one. Rigid's a terrible word because you can do a lot within the framework of horror, and I think you can tackle a lot of different subjects with the glaze of the horror genre put on top of it. For social issues, I think horror is the best genre for that. If you're doing that as like a straight drama, those kind of issue movies tend to age rapidly. They tend to age like potato salad in a warm, like overheated car all day. Like
a Mexico City taxi cab.
And I don't know. Last year, rewatched the movie Philadelphia. Are you familiar with this? The Tom Hanks AIDS movie.
Oh yeah,
which I watched.
I've actually never
We had to
seen it,
watch
but-
that in health class in high school, which is ridiculous if you watch that movie because it's just the movie could not be made today. I'll put it that way. And it was very earnestly made, and it falls flat now. Whereas I think in the horror genre, you can tackle certain current issues, and it doesn't come off as heavy-handed. It doesn't come off as preachy. It comes off as I think you can make it entertaining. Number one, and I think you can make it more timeless by sort of leaning into those genre expectations. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's one of the things that I come to horror with. This movie that we just watched is more of just, it's not really my cup of tea when it comes to horror, because I don't really think that we mentioned like there's some religious commentary and science, technology kind of commentary, but it doesn't say a ton. It's not trying to say a ton, which is fine. I don't need to have every movie have some sort of subtext, but I do enjoy the genre. I wish I watched more of it. I'm still, because I kind of put it off for so long, I'm still kind of catching up on a lot of the classics. So again, why I was sort of more interested in watching a more relevant title tonight. But this, it's more the 13th Elm flavor, Lawnmower Man, and I'm glad that I watched it. So I don't know if that was an adequate answer or not. I feel like it wasn't, but continue with your inquisition.
Let me ask you: Is there a horror movie that you can think of that, in your mind, was what introduced you to the genre? Because we talk about that a lot on the pod, because we were all kind of shown horror movies maybe a little too early at an age that we were still developing, and immediately we're yes, this is gonna be for me. And for a lot of those people, it's like Texas Chainsaw or The Exorcist or Blair Witch or something. Is there
Jaws.
a movie like that for you that you remember seeing maybe 13, 14, whatever, and you're this is, I'm not old enough to watch this kind of thing?
No, I was voluntarily put off by horror. I've told the story, and we've mentioned the movie tonight, actually. There was a video store. Are you guys old enough to remember video stores?
Yes.
There was a video store, Home Video, in my hometown that had I can picture the place vividly still. I'm sure it's like an insurance agency now, but there was a downstairs to it, and that was where the X-rated and more, I don't know what sort. I was never allowed to go down there, But at the bottom of those stairs, there was a poster. At one point, there was a poster. I believe it was for Hellraiser 3. I don't think it was Hellraiser 1.
Hell on earth.
But it had the pinhead was on the
Right.
on the poster, and I was terrified. That image, I associated that image with horror through my college years.
Yeah. Without
So
ever seeing
fuck
any of the movies, did you
yeah.
ever seek out any of the Hellraiser movies?
I saw the
'cause you were
first
curious?
Hellraiser last year. I didn't really care for it. I was not really scared by it. So that's the thing. So I started my horror, like I saw The Shining in, let's say 2014, 2015.
Wow.
In that time period. And that
When-
would have probably kicked it off. I
That's
remember,
one of the first horror movies you've seen?
I mean, I had seen some here and there. I actually was, I hate that I'm saying this, but I majored in film studies in college. So I've seen some movies before, some horror movies before that. But it was never something that I really actively chose myself.
Right.
So The Shining was good, and it was. I remember the first time I watched The Shining, I wasn't like blown away by it, but I came to really appreciate it. I've seen it a few times since then, and I've read the book too, and I've come to appreciate it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite horror movie, but it's one that I would attribute to a lot of my interest or getting into it. But I think part of it because I only got into it in my late 20s probably. I'm really not scared by horror. Like, I don't get scared watching horror movies. There are some, and those are the ones that really stick out. But getting scared in a horror movie, it's tough. And I think if I was to have watched movies, growing up as a kid watching horror movies, I think I would have gotten more scared by them. Like, so there's no story that I have where I was 9 years old and I watched something too early, and I was
Right.
scared shitless by it, which I've heard is obviously something that you guys probably
Relish. Yeah.
relished. So I don't have those stories. So I'm just being honest. It's like I'm coming to it more as a latecomer to the genre.
Right.
But I did the 30 Days of Horror for a couple of years, and I have as far as the franchises go, I'll watch the first one or two at least to get a feel for it. I'm not the completist that you guys are, but it's still it's fun. It's been a fun adventure to go through it, and even with the Lawnmower Man, happy to pick that up, even though it wasn't maybe the best movie, but
Oh, it's horrible.
still
Or
still
even
happy.
really a horror movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even really a movie. Hardly a film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
it was
like,
recorded?
Yeah, it was recorded. It was filmed on film.
That's about it.
Yeah, I don't know, Andrew. I don't have a ton of memories of being like scared as a kid, and I think that if you're an adult now listening to this podcast and you still get like regularly frightened by horror movies, I'm a little envious of you.
Yeah, I feel like that's rare.
Like, yeah, I feel like that's really rare, and so that I don't know if that's like a red herring or not, but like that's not really why I think you guys watch horror films. That's not what we're chasing even, but like there definitely are movies we watched this month that stuck with me in an uncomfortable way, and I wouldn't go watch those films again to get that reaction, but like that's why I watch them, or I watch them to like laugh, like it's a comedy or whatever. But kind of like what you're saying, where this is a true genre where like there are whatever flavor you want, there is a horror film or a tangentially horror film that is that, and
I'll give you what you want.
Horror is like, it's like karaoke. Some people are really, really into it, and there's a few people out there that won't even touch it. Like, they won't get on stage. They're not going to come to the bar. They're not going to pick up a microphone because it's horrifying to them. But for the most part, if I can, like, get some people out, like, watch a movie, and you're going to enjoy it and have a fun time, and you're probably not going to come back the next night and do it again, like us, because we're fucking weirdos. But I don't know. It seems very, very easy to please, outside of some of the extreme graphic stuff and the not horror, bad, terrible films like Lawnmower Man that we watch. And that's one of the reasons I love it. Is it's every flavor you want at the horror store. I don't know.
Horror comedy, I would say,
Good way to
is
put
a
it.
great combination
Oh yeah.
And I say horror comedy horror, which is more what I'd say a scary movie is. Like it's more of a comedy than a horror film.
Absolutely, yeah. Those are not horror films.
I've mentioned this to Mikel before.
But it's comedy for horror fans. It doesn't.
Yes.
It's not
Right,
requisite
but
that you're a horror fan.
it
But if
parodies.
you are a horror fan, those movies are better.
and I didn't
than
realize
if you're not.
on that
Of course.
tangent. I didn't realize because I watched Scream last year for the first time. I didn't realize how much Scary Movie is essentially just
It
a
is
shot for
Scream.
shot remake.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
Scream, and that's the
Scream
thing.
is a parody of slashers in and of
Right.
itself.
It's
so-
also like
And
not
Scream's,
a
I
remake,
think,
but
original
it's
title was Scary Movie.
yes,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Just
full
funny.
circle.
and that's all referencing the '80s, but it's all also referencing what Wes Craven did in New Nightmare, in
Right.
like '93. So like, horror is a self-aware genre. It's self-referential. Its fans are oftentimes like these uber nork super crazy fanatics that
Handsome,
know every
well-spoken,
detail
intelligent.
of the franchises and the the universes. So it's a web that's really interwoven, and it reaches pretty far into other genres with its influences and stuff. But I don't know. I definitely started watching horror younger than many people might say I should have, and have definitely been scared by films. Doesn't happen a lot anymore. I think the last film to genuinely scared me was something that I laughed at kind of while I was watching and dismissed, and ended up really liking the film. But I remember going to bed that night and thinking that this was like silly, and then I was just like actually fucking scared of being in the dark. And that was The Witch. Like The Witch is like
Oh, yeah.
solid in that sense, dude. It's a lot of shit that you don't fucking see, and just like thinking about I don't know. It's a lot, horror is a lot about headspace and like where you are and when you see it and what the environment that you're in like occupy is, and I don't know. I really like that. The best horror films for me, or like the most impactful horror films, the scariest ones, are the ones that everything terrifying happens in my mind, like Texas Chainsaw or The Witch or something, like where you don't see it, versus a movie like
Because
that
you
we watched-
imagine the scariest thing for you.
Right. Versus like a movie that we watched just recently would have been like Snowtown. Snowtown Murders is hard to watch. It's triggering. It's offensive. It's brutal. It's violent. And
Because it's real.
fucked up. And it's scary. It is, in the sense that I know that this not only can happen, but did happen. And that's
And is happening.
humanity. Like, people are like that. And that is scary. But there's a protection, I think, that happens in my mind. And maybe it's just my mind, that seeing it on screen, even when it's so well portrayed, is like, that's a movie. And I don't know if I can do that in my like the theater of the mind, which is why I've always gravitated towards like horror novels and comics and video games and stuff like that. It's the aesthetic is overall engaging for me, but the things that linger with me when I turn off the lights and like close the pages, like a good film will do that for me, and I'm always chasing that in horror. I think that's what I love most about horror, genuinely. Like getting scared.
Yeah, that's well said. And I think one of the movies recently that does that is It Follows, which we won't get into because I know that's on your list.
Yes, I
but
still have
that-
not listened to that episode of yours because I wanted to catch up with it. I don't even know much about it.
Go in.
That's
That's
the
the best
best
way
way
to do
to
it.
go
That's
in.
always the best way to go into
Yeah.
movies.
Where are we going next week?
We actually,
Are we
I
gonna
got us some
get outta
tickets.
here to this dungeon?
I got us some tickets. Next week we're going to be in Seoul.
Oh, we're going to
South
South Korea.
I actually got a date. Well, I got 9 dates that I'm going on. So I'm going to be spending a week there. I got some friends that I'm going to see.
9 dates in 7 days.
9 days and
dates in
7
7
days.
days.
Yeah.
It's like a Adam Sandler film.
So one of those
Someone's
dates is going to
not
be
getting
really
the time
fun.
they deserve.
Well, or they're getting the time that they've always dreamed of. Let's just say one of those
You.
dates is with the J line. All 3. And it's game over.
Great.
Yeah, Lawnmower Man, though,
You guys ready to
was fucking nuts. Cyber God.
Cyber God? All hail.
This movie sucks. I'm gonna watch it again before I die, though. I'll probably buy it.
Probably buy it.
Like if there's a steelbook of
Do
this,
I
I'll
own
buy
this?
Do you own it?
I don't think so. I should.
it. You
though.
should on VHS, right? This is one that you should definitely own. How has that not happened yet,
I don't know.
dude? If you can find the Stephen King like slipcover,
With his like face on it.
That might be why. If it's like the copy I want, could be expensive.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
You would have to find it somewhere, like at a secondhand store that they didn't know
Got
what it
lucky.
was, like an
Yeah.
estate sale or something.
Yeah.
Because anybody who's selling it as Stephen King's
Knows what it is.
yeah, and you're not gonna be getting it for cheap.
Oh,
think
for
they-
sure.
Well, they said that he sued to get his name off of it,
Mhm.
but then they put his name back on the home video release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
there
means that
is
there are video
yes.
like VHS cases.
and they're worth fucking
Exactly,
money.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But
$40,
most people
$50.
don't even know what they are, and like you know what I mean. Like you wouldn't know. That's not. I don't know. Collectors know, and nobody else does, and then they've all been like lost or destroyed, or they're not in good condition because it is such a weird niche collector's item. But
the
yeah,
more that are destroyed, the more valuable they
valuable,
be, the
yes.
remaining ones.
if
could
you're
become.
listening to this and you have a copy of
Lawnmower Man that says Stephen King, it's not worth shit, and you should mail it to
Just
me.
give it to us.
send it to 13thandelm.com at 13th and Elm on 13th and Elm Street on 13th and Elm.
Yeah,
and we'll
email
destroy
it
it
to
for
us.
you. Zip code
13th and Elm.
3 E
E
1
L
3
Ampersand ELM.
Yes.
Great.
Does anybody know my baloney's first name?
It's OSCAR.
Does anybody know my baloney's second name?
It's MEYER.
All right, and with that, were we gonna rate this movie or what are we doing?
Yeah, we're gonna rate the movie.
Yeah, we should rate it.
I mean, guess first.
Okay.
And so what? We're adopting the 1 out of 100. Or
I'm not
You can
adopting
do-
shit.
You can do
You
whatever
you
your
want.
scale, yeah.
Would you adopt a child with me?
Yes.
How about a highway? Would you adopt a highway with me?
I'd adopt an adult child from you.
I want an
How
adult
old?
child. That's actually been a big theme of mine lately.
Yeah, could do that. He's ready
He's
to go.
of age. You thinking
He's
like
ready to
Yeah, you
go.
can adopt him.
Yeah.
I'm of
he's
age.
ready
Can you
to
adopt
go.
me?
He's
He's on this maturity bit though.
he's like
Mm.
I don't know.
80%
if he's
potty trained.
I don't know if it's
80%.
It's I don't know if that one's gonna last.
Google Gaga.
Google.
Google.
Gaga.
He knows
Google
what Google.
Gaga.
He knows what Google is.
Yeah, oh, I'm smarter than you at 6 hours old.
You fucking idiot.
All right, what do you rate this out of 10? You can use your scale.
Or you could do an A, B, C, D,
Well, I
E,
can-
F, G.
Or stars.
I can translate it into the 100.
You can do
I just
stars,
gotta
hearts.
obviously move
If
a
this
decimal
movie was a
point.
baseball team, what would its regular season record be?
That's something that I will understand.
Yep, me too.
See, because I don't. That's actually a good question.
They play like 300 games a season, don't they?
162.
But see, I don't.
This
If
is a
you
good
have the 62 Mets, you know, it's what,
Oh, Derek Jeter.
40 and 120 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he played in 62.
That would mean it to be like it's more memorable. Like this is the kind of bad movie that's not bad enough to be notable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This is like the Barry Bonds.
So
of
I
bad
mean,
movies.
my rating would be, I don't know, 2 out of 10, 1.5 out of 10.
So,
So like
Your question of if it's a bad baseball team, I'd say it's like not even a 100 loss team. It's like 63 and 99. Like they're so bad that they're a bad team, but they're picking 7th in the draft next year. You know
like
what
they
I mean?
didn't even
Yeah.
get to.
Like they're bad at being bad.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the 08 Merlins.
Sure.
The Merlins. Oh, yes. The Washington Merlins.
Would you ever name it your son Merlin if you were forced to have one? Like I'm going to shoot you in the face, or you have to raise a baby, and you can name it Merlin or die. What are you doing?
Dying.
Okay, that makes sense.
Lawnmower Man, I will give this a 69.
Wow.
This movie is horrible, but it is but it is entertaining and it has a lot of sentimental value because it kind of marks the birth of 13th and Elm in a weird way.
Yeah.
And the death.
I I
Yes.
mean, I can never hear the word
Bird bath.
for probably the rest of my life.
You can never hear
without
it.
finding some-
It's like a fucking dog whistle.
It's like
a
fucking needles.
inconceivable frequency.
No, that's just like a normal word that will be funny to me for the rest of my
That's
life,
really
probably.
Yes.
Bird bath.
Michael?
I like this movie as much as I don't like this movie in that it's not worth even my time, but it will continue to get it.
But you've watched it twice.
How many times? Okay.
Two. Two.
I love this movie like a shitty ex. I will never forget it. I will often come back to it. It's best late at night. It's better shared with friends.
I don't like this.
And I'll give it a 69 too.
Wow. I thought for sure I'd score this movie highest. I think I'm going to bump it up 9 points. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to echo everything you guys said. This is not a good movie, and I will watch it again probably next year, which is pretty soon. And definitely watch the theatrical cut because 2 hours
Oh my God.
40 is insane.
Will we ever watch 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We're
Just
going to do
making
it
sure.
before
We're gonna watch 2 in
2 minutes or so?
we'll watch it in a different state.
Tomorrow?
Maybe we'll go on the road and watch that one.
Yeah.
When we all get back together.
You know, actually, I've been talking to
Chosui?
Elon Musk, and he's thinking about sending us to Mars
Shut up.
Really?
just to figure it out. He's
He
got this
says,
whole like Twitter thing going on. He
He
needs
said
someone.
Earth will be better without us or something.
Nah, it was more of a like, you guys are expendable. I think I can send you up there with limited supplies, and you can figure it out.
I think we can figure it out.
But limited supplies, that definitely includes like lube and condoms, right?
It includes lube.
What about drugs?
Yep, lots of drugs.
Yeah, I think we could
no
make
condoms?
do.
We don't really need condoms.
We don't need condoms. He was getting
Where we're
pregnant
going, we don't
No,
need
man.
condoms.
Would you dock in my brown? You know what I'm saying?
If you ask nicely,
Would you please dock in my brown?
yes, sir. But that said, we're gonna go to Mars, and yeah,
Wait, what did you rate this?
69.
So we're going to Mars after Seoul that I already announced, right?
Yeah, well, we're taking the break for Seoul, right?
It takes a while to get to Mars.
Wait,
There's
so
gonna
we're
be a
going to
break.
Mars and there's a layover in Seoul?
No, we're going to Seoul.
That's where we're flying out of. We're flying to Seoul, and then we're taking a rocket to Mars.
It's going to take a little bit. That's why there's a break, because we have to get to Mars. It's like, I
It's
don't know.
3 weeks.
200-300 feet away at least. I can't see it.
Months? Weeks? Months? I can't remember. I remember watching The Martian. I think it was 3 weeks, 3 months. Something around that time.
We'll figure it
Figure it out. I'm not worried about it.
I'm
got
not.
snacks. Got lube.
Got weed.
No
got weed,
condoms.
no condoms.
No condoms.
And with that said, thank you, Andrew.
Thanks for being on the show. First guest.
I wish you would have let us talk a little bit more, but appreciate it.
I disagree.
Yeah, that's par for the course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, pull up with us, watch 2 films. Come on, watch 2 films. If you scared, don't come over here. 13th Elm.